Hey everybody,
Hi.
how's it
Hello.
going out there in WikiTree land? We are here to celebrate WikiTree Day, which is very
Yay.
exciting. It's our Sweet 16, which seems, can you believe that 16 years is that weird for you, Chris, that it's been 16 years?
It is hard to believe. The years go by so much faster than they should.
So true. So true. Well, we're excited to be here with you guys for a little bit, chat about some things. So, you can kind of get to know the WikiTree team a little bit better. Some of us anyway, are behind the scenes, so you don't get to know us as well. Some of us are always in your face. Sorry. But yeah, so we're just going to chat a little bit. How about we just do a quick intro? Maybe just share real quick some of what you do on the team, and then we can dive into some of the questions. So I'm going to pick on Julie. Why don't you start?
Okay. Hi, I'm Julie. What do I do, you guys? I float around on WikiTree and help people with things like, I support the Friday Date Night crew. They're working really hard to help us get all of our undated, unlocated, unsourced profiles up to speed. And sometimes they need help with that, and so I give them a hand. I help catch spammers along with Betsy and Paul and Abby. And until recently, I worked with our mentors and mediators, and now Betsy's going to do that. So it's your turn, Betsy. What do you do?
Betsy's our newest team member.
Yes,
Yeah,
there I
probably.
am. I'm the newest team member coming on board in August. And as Julie said, my role is to support the functional projects on WikiTree, which include our mentors and mediators, our rangers and our greeters, and everyone, all those people who help keep WikiTree safe, welcoming, and the wonderful community that we all value. So it's been a big learning curve for me. I'm still learning, and Julie has had the patience of a saint to answer all my questions. But I'm enjoying it. I really like learning new skills and new information. So it's hitting that sweet spot for sure.
Nice. You've been doing a great job. We're excited to have you on the team.
Thank you.
Yep. Very.
Absolutely.
Alash, how about you?
I do anything that has to be done with the data. So any analysis and so on. That's really enjoyable for me. So I like doing those stuff. But in all the years that I'm here, I also did many things that are kind of part of WikiTree now. So the suggestions are the first part with what I started. Later, I wrote and maintained the edit bot that handles category changes and templates if needed, and many, many other things as user requested for them.
Nice. Paul, how about you?
Well, I'm probably I am the oldest team member now that's surviving on the team by a little bit over you. But how many is it, 13, 14 years now or something like that? So it's quite a long time. But yeah, I mainly look at the unresponsive profile manager requests and open privacy ones, and apart from that, completing some mergers which other people can't complete for various reasons. They're my main task, and as I said, trying to catch spams and answering other general inquiries from here and there. That's pretty much what I do on the team.
You're awesome behind the scenes for sure.
Yeah, thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
So I'm Chris. I'm the founder and president, which means I do everything that somebody else doesn't do. I manage big picture. I think of myself as a steward of the mission and balancing the budget, the revenue and expenses, and making sure that WikiTree can always be free forever, and that the community doesn't have to think about, the management of it.
We appreciate that for sure. And that you
Definitely.
started WikiTree. We appreciate that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So
I don't know what I'd be doing with my days without WikiTree.
Nothing. You'd just be sitting there wishing for things to do. Hey, kitty cat. So I'm the elf. I do everything that Chris and everybody else don't do, I guess. I pick up all the little missing pieces and oversee community things and do outreach and challenges, and I think I get all the fun stuff for the most part. So that's what we do. So we have a few
the rest of
questions.
us sane.
I do try. I don't know if I always do that, but I try. So we have a few questions we just thought we'd go through. The first one would be, what does being on the team mean to you, or what is the most rewarding aspect of it? So maybe we'll start with Paul on this one.
What's it mean to me? Okay. Well, genealogy is my one love, really, when it comes to doing things. So WikiTree and genealogy go together so well as a job. Living the dream, really, when it comes to that. It means a lot to me, and I'm just so pleased to be working on a free and collaborative tree. It's something I do hope goes for a long time, as Chris said. So that's pretty much me. Yeah.
I like it. Alesh, how about you?
Well, the good things of being on the team are that I have access to all the data behind the scenes, so I have better understanding of what needs to be done and how something can be done and so on. So that's quite advantage because of that.
Yeah, you're really good at that, for sure. You always come up with interesting ideas for how to approach things. Betsy, it's only been a few months, but how about you?
Yeah. I was on WikiTree from 2019, became very active in 2020. And I've had a lifelong fascination with family history. So I think that would have always been a part of my life. But when I found WikiTree, it just, and particularly the community, I had no idea that such a marriage of things could be possible. And I just became really passionate about WikiTree. I can't believe it's a main central part of my life. And I really value supporting the community in a more official capacity, and assisting with skills and with the skills that I have and learning new ones. And so it's been an honor and a privilege to join with you.
Awesome. Julie, how about yourself?
Well, I have to echo a lot of what Betsy said. For me, WikiTree is the community. We have such a fabulous community of members that not only take care of each other, but they take care of the tree and they protect it, and are always working to make it better. And I'm really happy to be able to support all of our members and do what I can to make what they're doing easier. So that is a privilege that I enjoy as being a SysOp.
Ding!
We have time to respond.
Start playing that music to fade me off of here.
Sorry, that was me. I didn't realize I wasn't on this story.
Okay, I was done anyway.
Chris, how about you?
To me, working on WikiTree means being able to do something meaningful with my life. Uh, Creating something that I think is valuable. It's a privilege. It's a real privilege to be able to devote your life to something meaningful. Not many people can do that around the world. Certainly, our ancestors had to devote their lives to feeding themselves and surviving, and it was hard to find time for work that they would just consider meaningful. So it's a great privilege that I can do this.
What about you, Aowen?
For me, it feels like something I stumbled into 12. I'm going into my 12th year. I was just fluttering around WikiTree, just doing stuff, and a couple months later I was a leader, and a couple months later I was on the team, and it's a gigantic part of my life. I've put a lot of time and energy into being here because I love it so much. I love WikiTree. I love the team. I'm a huge fan of Chris and what he's done here. And I just love the community. Like WikiTreeers, you guys have my heart. Like I'm here for all of you, and it's just I'm delighted that I get to be in the middle of this every day. So that's me. Let's see. Are there any fun or unique traditions within the WikiTree community that you look forward to each year? Sorry. Julie, you've been around doing all of them. Do you have any that you really look forward to?
Well, of course, our quarterly marathons are always a blast. I think that Aowen and I are the two people here that were posting the original videos every 2 hours because we didn't know what we got ourselves into.
For the first source of fun. Yeah.
Yes. And I do love those because I love how we all come together and work on a common goal. And it's just a lot of fun to get to know a lot of the other people out, that we always see in the chats or that, get into G2G or on Discord. And we've actually formed friendships and relationships with people that, are in the community. And that tradition of coming together every quarter, getting to know each other is just really cool. I like that.
Yeah, definitely. Betsy, how about you?
I had to think about this, and I mean, there's a lot to choose from, but I think Secret Santa is one of my favorite annual events. It's just such a wonderful giving event where people just dive in, and it's sort of like it really is. You write out your wish, and then people grab in the bag and say, "Okay, I'm going to fulfill it," or try. And
yeah, it's a good example of the generosity of the community for sure. Alash, do you have something you look forward to each year?
Yeah, the tones the tones used to be interesting time, but now everything is running so smoothly that I'm no longer needed just to start it and finish it off. So those are kind of boring lately for me.
We could try.
So I even get to participate in some of them. I remember first year I was working all the time just to make things running smoothly.
Yeah. It's come a long way.
Otherwise, every Sunday is for me special. In the morning, I first check if the database dump is already done. And so I can start the processing of the data, and then I continue that through Monday, and usually it gets published on Tuesday lately.
Nice.
So that's a repeating cycle. And in between all the intriguing questions, how if that would be possible, and I of course know the answer. So those are fine times.
Chris, how about you? Do you have a favorite thing you look forward to each year?
I'll say the marathon events, like the quarterly events. For me, it's a chance to actually just participate as a member, as a WikiTreeer, as a genealogist. Like I use those weekends. I just devote all that time to just doing genealogy, just doing research and creating profiles. And so I really don't do that almost any of the rest of the year. So for me, that's a great privilege.
Nice. Paul, do you have a favorite event or activity that we do?
I must admit that it's something I haven't been terribly involved with, because when I tend to sit down, I just tend to sit down and do lots of emails and forms and things like that. So I take an interest in them, but I really haven't had a lot of time to get involved there. I suppose outside of WikiTree, I mean, I do love going out and giving talks in libraries and things. It doesn't happen regularly, but it's a very interesting thing. I even got a recent broadcast on radio over my cemeteries, so that was quite interesting too, and it gives WikiTree a bit of press as well. So it's not directly involved in WikiTree and the WikiTreeers, but yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
Nice. That's all good stuff.
Yeah, it's all good stuff.
So this is an interesting one. What's a quirky or lesser known fact about WikiTree's history or technology?
Who are we starting with?
I could start. I could take it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't really appreciate or know how much the site has evolved, like how much it's evolved one little step at a time.
Yeah.
Over these 16 years, you know, or even we could say over 20 years. Like there are parts of WikiTree, there are parts of it that started 20 years ago for my wedding, like when I just created a website to organize my family history. And from there, it's just been one, you know, step at a time. Sometimes big steps, and certainly like a lot that the team and the community puts a lot of effort into. But I think it's remarkable just how much it's evolved organically, step by step. You know, not through intelligent design. You know, not through me sitting down 16 years ago and saying this is what WikiTree is going to be, but just through every step, every month, every year, and all the changes that have happened.
Can I ask a follow-on question to that?
Sure.
What is there a direction or a feature or an aspect of WikiTree that surprises you from what you envisioned at the beginning?
Oh yeah, lots. I mean, first of all, there always has been a direction. You know, I mean, since it became WikiTree, the mission has been the same, has remained the same, to grow a free, collaborative, single-family tree. So there's always been that direction, but figuring out how to do that is something that I was personally completely ignorant of 20 years ago. Like 20 years ago, I was this typical starting family history person who just had a family tree that was, given to me by my great aunt, and I didn't understand sources or recording them or why that would be important. So there were a lot of big mistakes that if we could have designed WikiTree, if now we were to go back 16 years and design WikiTree from the ground up, it would be very different, and the architecture would be different. So we are left with a lot of these legacy things that evolved, and there's an elegance in that, but also, there are problems in that.
Chris, kind of just because you kind of touched on it, Yoke in the chat asked, with the knowledge of hindsight, what would you have done differently when you started?
Well, the architecture, so we use MediaWiki, which is the software that was designed for Wikipedia or evolved for Wikipedia. And so So we created this fork of MediaWiki years ago, 16 years ago. And then we layered on top of that stuff to do for genealogy. And so the way we layered on user records, person records, wasn't the most elegant. Like the people in the apps and API group would, appreciate this. So we could have made that more elegant. And I think a big thing we would have done differently is look at other genealogy software. I had never even used other genealogy software 16 years ago. So I would have paid more attention to what, other tools had already learned to do and what they had already agreed on so that there would be more interoperability.
Makes sense. Anybody else? Do you have like a quirky piece of WikiTree history? Like something people might not know?
The only thing I can think of was back was at the early days of WikiTree. I can remember, Chris was on the main one I talked to, and he'd often do upgrades in the middle of the night over there because it was best time for the largely US-based thing. And I would go, I think there's a bug, Chris. And I think he found that a bit of an advantage because he could get it fixed straight away. And I did it more than once. There was a few times that cropped up, and I'd find something that wasn't working correctly, and I go, okay. And I'd send off an email or a message to Chris, and it'd be promptly fixed, which was good. And it sort of started in categories. I think I was the one that sort of started categories, and I remember asking Chris, how do we do this? I don't think Chris knew much about it either. So I went away and just learned about it and started that category thing growing, and now it's beyond a single person now, so it's taken its own path with other people deciding what to do. So, yeah, that's the quirky history, I suppose, that I can remember.
Yeah, Paul was the first one to do a lot of things on WikiTree.
Yeah, you really helped shape things.
Yeah, I just think I was able to, I feel honoured that I was able to help that way.
Nice. Okay, so what is one of your favorite recent features? Like maybe something that was hard to add that you're proud of, or something that is powerful but simple, or maybe something that you had nothing to do with at all, but you just really like using it. Julie.
WikiTree Plus. Thank you, Alesh. I use it every day, pretty much all day when I'm on here. So that's just been invaluable for, gathering information for reports, things that need to be worked on. I'm trying to think. Oh, and of course the WikiTree browser extension has just been fantastic. I remember many years ago we had another extension that would allow us to import information from Family Search, and then for whatever reason that was no longer supported, and so then WikiTree browser extension came along and replaced that, and it's just returned working and adding sources and citations, writing bios and making sure everything looks okay. It's just made that so much easier. So those are my two favorite things.
Yeah, to say like the WikiTree sourcer, like I'm embarrassed to admit I had not used it until the last sourceathon. I should have used it 2 years ago. But the point it's at now, I mean, I know it's just gotten better and better because Rob Pavey keeps improving it. And that thing is amazing.
You're right.
Such an aid.
Yeah. WikiTree sourcer, I meant to include that as part of the browser extension, but they're two separate pieces. So, but yes, you're right.
What about you, Paul? Do you have a favorite feature?
Yeah, I guess it's just my own personal thing. Again, back to the cemeteries. I like that little in the category page for the cemeteries where you can check if you've got relatives in the cemetery. as I catalogue many cemeteries, I've often found people that I didn't realise were in that cemetery who are actually distant cousins. Happens more often than I thought it would.
Yeah, and that's shout out to Alesh with the connection finder. Like that's the combination
Yes.
of cemetery categorization. Shout out to Paul, and then
Yeah.
connection finder. Shout out to Alesh, and the fact
Yeah.
that we check connections in any category. I still think it's amazing and one of the most powerful things about WikiTree long term.
I fully agree that with the categories, it's very useful. And thanks, Alice, for that. That's one of those wonderful things you've done.
Betsy, you have a favorite?
I think for me it would have to be Sorcerer, and I keep digging deeper into it and using more and more of its features when I do profiles, and it just offers so much flexibility, and I really appreciate it. All the magnificent work that Rob did on it.
Yeah, definitely. Alash, I'm just going to guess that yours is WikiTree Plus.
No, actually, it's not. I don't use it that much because I'm running it in directly. So I don't use the interface that much just to explain something to other users. But I do love the applications and the extensions because I'm not that involved in the development, so I'm just surprised with new features every now and then. The WikiTree itself, I'm involved in development, so it doesn't come as a surprise to me. So the extensions are something that is interesting to see.
Makes sense.
Can I add a couple things?
How about... Yes, you may.
These are not apps, and they're not really features, really. They're part of our community, and our mentors and rangers and the other people who spend countless hours watching over all of the hard work that everybody's done to make sure that it's safe and sound, and helping people who get stuck or having trouble or getting frustrated or whatever. The mentors step in and devote their time to helping people who are having a difficult time. So I guess we can call those features of WikiTree, right?
Yeah, volunteers are invaluable.
I would also add the Discord, WikiTree Discord, because there you can directly communicate with other users and solve some problems quickly, or even talk to each other or share screen. So it has a lot of very good communications, much better than emails, because I have problems with emails because when you write them, it's middle of the night here, so I answer tomorrow and you read the answer the next day, so it takes time with emails usually. While on Discord you have instant communication, so that's really good thing for WikiTree. I think that happened in the past.
Yeah, it's been great for instant communication back and forth, for sure. And for during the marathons, people have a lot of fun chatting in there. So is there a hidden feature or an underutilized tool that you think people should be more aware of and use more often? Betsy, do you have an idea of one?
Well, I don't know how often, maybe I'm wrong that people don't utilize this, but whenever I bring it up on the new member Q&As, there's some surprise that in the box on a profile that tells you the profile manager, of course, there's the little envelope icon where you can send a private message, but there's also another little icon which will show you the relationship of the profile manager to the profile subject. And I always check that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Very, very helpful.
Julie, do you have any that popped to mind?
Oh, gosh. So using WikiTree is just kind of second nature for me. So I forget sometimes some of the things that I use all the time other people are not aware of. Emma Macbeth has reminded me often that because we will work together sometimes live and she'll watch what I'm doing on the screen. So I'm going to do something very simple and just say Control F to find things on the screen when you're working on different aspects of, writing a bio or looking for something, or you're in your watch list, or, or maybe it should be my answer, the bulk tools, because I use Control F on the bulk tools screen. So if I have a bunch of profiles that I've added during one of the marathons, I can go into the special : trusted list changes tool, which you can find at the top of your watch list. And I can let go of a bunch of profiles all in one fell swoop. So those tools are probably something a lot of people don't use. And actually, just the features of the watch list are probably something that people don't use. So go to your My WikiTree menu down to watch list and go look at your watch list and play around with the tools on there, because I think those are underutilized.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Paul, do you think of, Chris, go ahead.
I mean, I was just going to say, one thing that I don't think is underutilized by anybody here or watching this, but is underutilized by by WikiTree as a whole, is G2G. Like,
Yeah.
I think almost everybody who goes and asks a question there is amazed at how helpful people are. How much people are willing,
absolutely,
of their time, and how that can transform your experience on WikiTree once you start communicating with other people. So
yeah.
So plenty of people use that, but we tend to forget that there are hundreds of thousands of people who don't, who never will ask a question.
Yeah. Getting involved in the community is one of the best ways to learn and get the help that you need. And I agree. Just getting involved
and to grow your tree.
Really important.
Yeah. Definitely. I'll ask you, Paul, do you have another underutilized feature that you think people should be using more, or could be using more?
I would say, well, Alice's tool, the suggestions part in the menu, pull down and have a look at what you need to fix. There's always something there, and that can improve your tree if you find things that don't sort of fit together. Yeah.
True. This is just one that I really like. For me, it's part of the WikiTree browser extension, but it's the random profile finder.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then we also have a random free space page finder. And so when I have a few minutes, I like to just look at those and find interesting free space pages that are out there that people are making, because there's so many. And if you don't know about them, you just don't know about them. And so I like to go and see, kind of what people are doing there. And then the random profile, you can set it for just your watch list, or you can set it for all of WikiTree. And so it's been helping me kind of get through my watch list and look at profiles that I wouldn't even probably think about looking at, or if I just want to do something random, I can set it to WikiTree and find just some profile out there to spend a few minutes improving. So I enjoy that one. Let's see. So, what are some of the most challenging aspects of managing the platform or leading the community, and how do you think we're overcoming them? So I think I'm going to pick on Julie for this one, because a lot of it is helping people learn the site and how to interact with each other and our conflict escalation process, which, Julie and I have been in that since it started. So that's probably a huge part of, one way we're managing the community, at least.
Yeah, definitely. It's a hurdle for it's a hurdle to help people understand that we all share the same information. And even if we're not related to somebody, it's okay for us to work on that profile or to add profiles that we're not related to. It's okay for people to touch your things, in other words. So like if you have your family line out there, you're going to get help from other people. And most people who will contact you, if they notice that, you don't have sources, or maybe you're duplicating another family that's out there, if somebody contacts you about it, they're not doing it to pick on you. They're doing it because they want WikiTree to be the best that it can be, and they see that you might need some help. And so they might contact you and give you a hand. And that's what our mentor crew is for, is sometimes, if we have a member who's struggling to communicate well with other people, or doesn't understand the necessity of proving the information that you put out there, then we'll sometimes get a mentor to come and contact them and say, hey, let's work on this together. And I think the most important thing to remember about that is that the mentors are there to help you. They're not there to punish you or to be your adversary. They're there to be your ally instead. So they're there to help you be successful. And so I really appreciate our community reminding our new members that they're there to lend a helping hand.
Yeah, for sure. I think maybe that's one of the underutilized tools on WikiTree is our conflict escalation process. Like, especially when you go through the steps of things like finding the question, like what's the actual root question, that's creating the problem, and being able to focus on that and putting some of the feelings aside. So I would actually say that's an underutilized tool that people don't need to be afraid of it. It's not, it doesn't have to be a scary thing. It's there to help, and foster a good community. So,
right. Yeah. The problems with members questionnaire on the help menu. Chris, I don't know how you came up with that, but that is one of the most brilliant parts of WikiTree I've ever seen. It just, if you're frustrated and you don't know what to do with yourself, go walk through it, and it will point you in the right direction to get the problem resolved, whatever it is. I just think it's just so smart.
Yeah, now we just added the problems with policies. Right. Kind of the same idea to just, have a way for people to be able to work through these things, in a friendly, productive way. Betsy, do you have any thoughts on, what's the challenging aspect that you've seen, or
I think
how we're kind of overcoming things?
Yeah. Certainly one thing that I'm experiencing in my new role is just riding the wild beast of all the information that can be found, all the help pages, and not only I've gotten way more savvy with my bookmarking. I have to.
You're not alone there.
So that I can be sure that I'm giving people the official WikiTree policy and information, and then maybe 2 months from now I need to find it again if it's something a little more obscure, and then being able to put my finger on it. And like Julie was mentioning a little while ago, Control F has become my friend.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of information out there for people who are looking
but
for
once you find it, it's very hard to find it again.
Yeah.
I often remember, I read that something, where was it? No way.
Well, in addition of the help, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Well indexed now. Like, it used to be that you couldn't search them easily. Now you can.
I was going to, that help page search box has been invaluable.
Probably another underutilized
pages are good now, but G2G still has very bad searching. So I usually use the from email search function that searches through G2G emails that I received. during their years.
Yeah, that doing a new search index, rebuilding how we do search for G2G is something like it's been on our to-do list for a long time. And hard to know why it doesn't make it to the top, but we always seem to be dealing with some emergency.
So true.
Yeah.
So just along the lines of managing the platform, or Chris, do you have anything you want to add?
The emergency of the past few months, as the team knows, but very few other people would know, is our search indexing in Google. How we're indexed in Google is so important to members and to every part of how WikiTree works. How WikiTree works as an organization, how we survive on ad revenue so that we can always be free, so that members don't have to think about even seeing ads. We have ads for the people who are coming in through Google, so members don't see ads. People who search for an ancestor profile on Google, they see an ad. And, they're just so critical to how WikiTree works in that broader collaboration. This is how our cousins find the trees that we're creating. We create these ancestor profiles, and Google is a major way that people know they exist. So we want our cousins to find them. And back in March or April, Google did a big algorithm change that just happened to affect us in a really deep way. So Google now really doesn't understand WikiTree anymore. Like, it completely changed how we're indexed. Part of it may have been due to some problem with our site being overloaded with these AI bots. Like, that's a problem we've been dealing with all year, is these bots in China, especially, scraping our content over and over again and not respecting any sense of decency as far as respecting the website. So we, our website has just been crushed with this avalanche of traffic. The site went down a bunch of times. That hurt us a lot in Google. Google did the algorithm change. That hurt us a lot. And so for 6 or 8 months, we've been coming to terms with this. And we're getting there. We're getting close to restoring where we should be, and hopefully getting back on an upward trajectory. But it's a huge challenge in the behind the scenes aspect of WikiTree.
Is there anything that members can do to help improve the way Google looks at WikiTree?
Absolutely, Julie. Google, judges the importance of a website and how many resources Google should spend on indexing a website, based on how many people are talking about that website in places that Google can see, and that includes most social media. So if you talk about WikiTree, if you talk about your profiles on social media, or if there are links from other websites, so if your local public library has a link to WikiTree, or your local genealogy society, if they have a website and they have a link to WikiTree, that makes a big difference. And that's, most genealogy societies, they just do that based on their members, So if you're a member of a local group involved in something, they have a website and they could add a link to WikiTree. That's really big. And then the social media talk and getting WikiTree mentioned is very important to Google.
Cool. You hear that, everybody?
Keep talking. Get social on social media. So is there a feature improvement that you're looking forward to seeing added? Or can we talk about the redesign?
Yeah, the redesign we've been working on all year. Members have seen some of that because we posted like first style sheet, like basic fonts and colors and things, and got feedback on that. A month later or so, we posted like a basic page, like say a help page, an example help page. So that brings us a little further. And I had hoped tomorrow, but it's probably going to be next week, we will reveal the draft of profile pages. So that's what everybody's been waiting for. That's the big one, really, is you know, what will a profile look like under the design? And so we're very close to that. We should have it, and it'll still be rough. You know, it's still a draft that then the community gives feedback on. You know, like, I don't like this. This is hard to read for my eyes or my browser. This doesn't work on my mobile platform. You know, you need all this feedback and put that back in the mix and then try again. So, but that draft is coming very soon. And then once that's done, I sort of think of that as the top of the mountain on the redesign. Like once we've done that, then it starts rolling downhill and things will happen faster. And then hopefully within a few months, we'll get the release out.
Cool. That's exciting. Can I emphasize one thing about that? That when Chris brings that to G2G, it's a draft. It's not the final anything. So we love your feedback. It's awesome. That's why we ask. But please don't freak out like it's the end of everything, because it's
Yeah.
You know, you have your chance to share what you may or may not like about it. But, you know, just the draft. Please. Thank you. The one thing I'm excited for is the Hacktoberfest wrap up that they're doing a little bit later today, so I can learn about the things that they're able to add during Hacktoberfest. I know there was one thing I'm excited to learn more about is I know someone came up with a way to show the WikiTree profiles on Ancestry, so you can really easily see if there's a WikiTree profile already. So I'm excited to learn about that one and just whatever else they've been up to during October. So
That'll be fun.
yeah, that'll be good. So just we have a few more minutes. So what do you see in the longer term future? Like, where's WikiTree going? Is there goals or dreams? Like anything you guys want to see? Where you hope we're going? I'm going to save Chris for last on that one. But Paul, you know, what do you see as WikiTree's long-term future?
I don't know how it would go or how it would be built, but I'd certainly like to see DNA take more of a look in to see how that fits in, because it's certainly been very fascinating to me, having recently found out a profile that I managed for someone unrelated to me who had a younger brother, now deceased, who had actually been swapped at birth in hospital with somebody else whose grandson had contacted me. So that was
wow.
Like I say, I'd like to see DNA more help there to show that paper trail isn't always the truthful thing. So and you need to reinvestigate. So that would be something I'd like to see more. Yeah.
Nice. Alash, how about you?
I don't know. Probably a lot, but nothing planned. So I don't have a 5-year plan for WikiTree done for myself.
Betsy, how about you?
It all depends on the questions.
True.
I think my big hope would be continuing to get the word out about WikiTree to the bigger world of genealogy.
Yes.
And I think we're on the right path with that. And we've been engaging so heavily with a lot of genealogists, through our challenges and the symposium, and many of them have in turn become active WikiTreeers, which is amazing to see, and they're giving us shout outs. So I think the more we can do so that every family historian knows what WikiTree is, that would be my thing.
Yeah, that's my goal for 2025. That's my goal for 2025, so that in 2026, when we go to Roots Tech, the most common question isn't, "Oh, is this the family search wiki?" People will know there's a difference. Julie, how about you?
I just have to echo what you and Betsy were just talking about. Just making WikiTree more of a household name, I guess, along with Ancestry and Family Search, and so that people recognize that collaborative genealogy can work. It does, and we've kind of proven that. But there's still a lot of skeptics out there. So just the fact that it can work as long as we all work together. So that's what I look forward to, that being a more common belief, maybe.
Chris, what about you? What's your long-term future that you see for WikiTree?
The long-term vision has not changed in 16 years. The mission that brought us together, that brings us together, is a collaborative single-family tree that is free forever, that connects us all and is accessible to us all. That's what we've been working on all these years, and guaranteeing that future, that it'll always be free, and it'll always be successful, is a big part of that. I mean, that's never guaranteed. Someday wikitree.com will not be here. Someday, maybe 10 years from now, I will not be here. So ensuring that future, is the dream. And I know that WikiTree will always be accessible. Like, I feel pretty confident in saying, because of our protections, because of the way we share data, public data will always be there to anybody who's interested in family history. But being able to continue working on it on WikiTree is not guaranteed. And so the dream is to find a way to guarantee that. And we have some plans in the works on that institutionally, but they're not there yet.
Get in there. Ooh. Well, any last words for our WikiTreeers out there before we head off? I'll say it. Onward and upward.
Well, thanks for the volunteers.
And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for celebrating.
I mean, WikiTree is what it is.
Thank you for celebrating WikiTree's 16th birthday with us. Thank you to the community for making WikiTree what it is. It's a collaborative site. It's based on the community. So thank you to everyone.
Definitely. I put a link in the chat for the G2G post that has all the rest of today's activities and LiveCasts. There's a cubicle party tonight. I'll just reiterate, those are fun. It's a great chance to get in contact with WikiTreeers you would not come in contact with otherwise. Make some Wiki friends. There's some great LiveCasts. There's games later today. There's some more G2G posts for you guys to respond to. So, get out there, celebrate, have some fun. And we'll see you for things later on today.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.